Hello, Silver Ballers. Tonight, I want to do something completely different. I posted the Galaga video. Let's Play a Video Game number 36 in that series. And it features Galaga. And on Facebook, where we have a group called the Silver Ball Podcast, you are welcome to join. If you scroll down here, one of the comments, and this has been a fairly private group of people for many years, mostly pinball people, Joe posts a link to the Wargames Galaga scenes. And so I watched that link, and I've watched this Wargames movie from 1983 many, many times, but it made me think a little bit about that movie and that scene. So I wanted to break down that scene and talk about it for a minute. So let's have a look at this. At 14 minutes into the movie, we are looking at the 20 Grand Palace arcade. And let's analyze this a little bit, okay? So here we have Matthew Broderick's character playing Galaga. And he's got 41,780. And I don't really want to analyze that so much. That's fun, but let's see what else happens here. Let me turn this down a little bit. All right, so at this moment here, we have somebody that's getting a Coke. And what's interesting, first of all, super nostalgic. The Dr. Pepper clock in the background, I love it. I had one similar, actually, and I still have it. It just doesn't work anymore. But those wax Coca-Cola cups, those were a thing. And just a takeaway here, it's interesting that Cokes are much larger. If you go buy a fountain soda, as we would probably call them today, they're twice the size of this, right? It's crazy. All right, let's move on. All right, boom. Right over here in the far right, you can see Donkey Kong. But a guy with the vest on, we can't see what that game is. But just trying to make out what games are in this arcade. And trust me, if you hang on for a minute, you'll find a blooper. So we have Donkey Kong in the far right. Then we have, I can't tell, but it looks like an Atari cabinet the way it's shaped. And we can't really see it because the guy in the vest. But now in this view, we can see clearly Frenzy, Centipede, Asteroids, Robotron. Now this guy's going to duck around the Miss Pac-Man that's up close. We'll see a Pac-Man machine. Boom. Barely caught that one. And then we see Jungle Hunt. So many of these games have been covered already in the Let's Play a Video Game series. Well, about half of them at this point. Okay, bingo. Now we're beginning to see something pretty cool. I want to pause it here. You see those bench seats that these young ladies are setting in. I have 3 of those, 3 booths. They came out of a youth center in this town that I live in many years ago. They've been repurposed. I have it in my game room. I have one in my shop, and I have one in my second arcade room. But anyway, just love them, man. They're very cool. So glad I was able to save those. But yeah, looking at the back row here, I think we're going to make out a Miss Pac. Okay, so you can see the Miss Pac-Man. Let's move a little bit further. I'm not sure what this game is far right. I think it is Blueprint. I can see it clear here in my copy. So let's go with that. Let's say it's a Blueprint, and then a Miss Pac, and a Tron, and a Satan's Hollow. And then we have another Atari game of some sort here. And we were able to see that one through the window or through the door in the initial shot here in this movie. Okay. Now, from the door, and I can't make out what game that is, honestly. I don't know what it is. It looks almost like the marquees are turned off. Can't see any light. Such a glare coming in. To the left of the door, we see Tutankhamun, Tron. I don't know what that game is next to that. It looks like another Atari game. Just basing this off of the artwork on the side of the cabinet. And then Subrock 3D, Zaxxon, and the Galaga that Matthew Broderick's character is playing. And then we'll see to the left of that Dig Dug. Okay, let's see if we can make out all these. It's really hard to see what that game is next to Subrock 3D. Okay, so he's playing his game, 48,000, and shooting with his left hand. Okay, there's Tron. What is that game? The kid that's walking in front of it, you can see the Subrock 3D panel, but I just don't know. Is it like Black Widow or something? I don't know. Moving on. Okay, so the kiddo's watching him, and it is weird that he's shooting with his left hand and moving the joystick. No, he's shooting with his right hand on the left side. Now he's doing it the right way. Hands over the kiddo's ready to play, and away he goes. Broderick forgets his book bag, grabs it off Dig Dug, and away he goes. Cool. Let's take a look at the next segment here. Okay, at 26 minutes, or about 9 minutes after that last scene, we have, I'm going to quit saying Matthew Broderick's character. It's David. His soon-to-be girlfriend, Jennifer, comes flying in here. Boom, there she is. Now, boom, notice the game to the left of the door. They've moved it. This is Blueprint. Well, where was Blueprint before? Well, it was way to the right of this, and this used to be Tutankhamun. So what happened to Tutankhamun? This could have, like, realistically, there could have been a move, during the day, I guess. How much time has elapsed? Wasn't he playing Galaga before school, and now it says after school? I don't know. Regardless, Blueprint is now next to the door. I call that a blooper. I would say it is. Plus, seeing a girl play that game, how many people actually care to play that game? Just kidding. It's not a bad game. There is Tron, then the mystery game, Gravatar maybe? God, almost looks like it. Subrock 3D, Zach's on, and now this dude needs to get out of our way, and he is. So, now a little bit of analysis on Galaga. He's got 33,000 points. There's 3 guys left. He's got dual shooters. So if we do the math, with 1 free fighter, 1 free ship, wouldn't that be 2 guys left, not 3? So it's like he got 2 free men. I'm confused because it doesn't seem like the game would play this way. Okay, so she's chit-chatting and she wants him to change the grade. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. He's already done it. So playing tough. All right, back to the game. He's got 36,240. Now he's only got 1 ship, so he's had 1 popped. And he's on wave 5. Wave 3 being a challenge stage. So I don't know that he's playing that well. Anyway, regardless, he's playing okay. Boom. That explosion was way too loud. And as somebody pointed out in the other video, there's 3 ships left. So kind of a blooper here too. I mean, it's absolutely for Hollywood sake, but the explosion sound isn't right. If you listen closely, some of the sounds in Galaga are not matched up to what we see on the screen. And after the explosion, that was definitely not the true sound of the game. Game's over. Now, back it up just a little bit. Look at his score, 39,000. So we back it up just a little bit. For Hollywood's sake, at 35, we'll see what happens when he dies here. He had 36,000 at the last moment that we saw it. 37, boom. So far, the integrity of all this is pretty good, except we know what had to happen. For Hollywood filming, they just literally crashed out the rest of the guys because they wanted to have this shots fired, number of hits ratio, and let him and his reflection fade away from the screen. Okay, we're halfway into the film. David comes out of the 7-Eleven with his monstrous-sized Big Gulp. Just take note here, some super cool nostalgic viewing, things that will never be like this again. We've just got a really chill, neat-looking 7-Eleven. They don't look like this today. The trash can logo, the GMC or Chevy pickup, I can't hardly tell. It looks like it's debadged. The phone in the back corner, the McDonald's, it looks like across the way. All of that is very nostalgic. Now notice though, we're gonna pick up on something. He's getting busted here. So he's turning. It really is like the 7-Eleven is to his back. Notice the Miss Pac-Man machine again, please, in the upper right-hand corner. Its orientation, you see it. The back of the machine is to the window. Okay. He's walking with 7-Eleven to his back, slightly to his left shoulder. Okay, he turns. Now the 7-Eleven is to his right. Keep watch here. This guy in front of the store. Okay, there's a Brat. That's kind of neat, the vehicle. Okay, 7-Eleven still to his right. Okay, boom. So if the 7-Eleven store is to his right, look through the window, and what do you see? There's video games there. That is definitely the marquee of a Tutankhamun, and it looks like a Donkey Kong Jr. And they just look like they're packed in that window. Now, I'm not sure. Okay, we can kind of see at the 7-Eleven here that we have the video games toward the far right. It looks like we can barely make out a yellow marquee, but that's an interesting arrangement. And since it's Tutankhamun, not a game that would be everywhere, wasn't super popular, it is a bit curious. You don't know what they stock up and make just look a certain way in a movie, but is it possible that the games from the arcade, that wasn't really an arcade at all, and even the 7-Eleven might have been stocked with some arcade games for the sake of those shots? I have no idea. I'm very curious, but I have never noticed those games before until I rewatched this for the Silver Ball segment that I wanted to do with you guys. So anyway, that's Wargames, and that's a little bit about the arcade and some of the arcade machines that you see in this movie. If you have any comments or any thoughts about all this, please share them. We have a few games that are not easily identifiable.